Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It is currently pre 8 a.m. here in the teapot because my brain decided, really, not me, I wouldn't consciously decide this, but my brain decided, okay, no, 6:30 on this your summer holiday is the correct number. So we're enjoying a coffee. You have got my face as very much in my face because I'll throw on some mascara and lipstick for you, but when I tell you it's hot here, one of the governors in Oman, I think it was on Saturday, went up over 50 degrees, 50.5 degrees. If you do not play the Celsius game, 50.5 degrees is 122.9 Fahrenheit. That is the heat we are dealing with right now. So at the moment, the F in foundation stands for F all the way off with that. So I'm not wearing my base makeup today. Hi, welcome to Bare Skin. So I've been on a bit of a reorganization kick since I started my holidays. I think it's just teacher brain. Like once I stopped on one project, I was like, okay, I could rest or I could just do all the things. So that's what I did. Part of that has been doing a few projects around the house that I've been meaning to do for a while. I can only go so far with them because some of them require me buying like new bits and pieces of furniture and storage and things, and I've now more than used up all the money that I had for that. But I ended up getting a chair from IKEA just for the dressing table in there. I ended up getting a cupboard, and you're actually sitting on my new dining table, which is great. I did have a really big dining table before, and I put it in the same spot as this one is now, just because it was the only place for it really. But I have a big sliding door. I have a big sliding door that opens up into my back garden, and the table was big enough that I couldn't put chairs on that side because it was blocking off all the access to the doors. And I was having to edge around the table to get outside. So the new dining set is about 2/3 the size of the old one, which means with chairs all the way around it, it's fitting the space of the table alone in the old set, because the chairs for the old set were also quite bulky. And that's just the style of things here. Everything has a lot of molded furniture, a lot of big shapes, and very, very solid. Like I'm actually going to put in a really short tour of my apartment because somebody asked for it, but you'll see that the table legs in the new set, they're slightly slanted, and just the shape of it is a lot more contemporary, whereas my old one, it was very kind of boxy and the legs went all the way to the edge, which meant it completely filled its space, things like that. But let me just insert it here. We're beginning in the entranceway. I just put up a couple of hooks here so I could hand up some of my frequently used bags. And then I have a shoe rack here and just some odd things on top that I tend to use. Go into here. This is my filming area. I sort of have regrets about this desk. It's good for filming, but it's not a great use of space. But I don't really have a better use of space because these are the wardrobes and this is the window. It's a little bit hard to set it up a different way. But I feel like maybe a corner desk or something might be worthwhile. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into a better setup and then see if anyone wants to buy the desk and set it up a different way, maybe. I haven't decided yet, but over here we just have my other computer area, and then this is where I film, where my storage is and stuff like that. Moving into the main room. So I recently did some reorganization. I'll probably put that into the intro. But I haven't changed anything big. I've just made it so every time I open a cupboard, things aren't just shoved inside. I did change my table, which I'm very happy with. So it's smaller, it fits the space better. And I've just got that there. And then this is the cupboard I made that I'm very proud of, or at least I was until the delivery guy got to it. Hi. I'm editing right now, and I just realized as I was going through this that I didn't tell you the story of the delivery guy. So the delivery people from Pan Home, the one advantage they have over IKEA, aside from the fact that they were a lot cheaper, was the fact that the delivery men assemble the furniture for you. When I say they did it quickly, they left the lorry running. They were just like, now we got this, 5 minutes. So they're doing that, and I just casually say to them, I was like, I can't believe how quickly you're doing this. I put together that IKEA cupboard and it took me ages. And he just kind of laughed, and they looked over at the cupboard and he went, do you mind if I open this? Opened the door, took his electric screwdriver drill thing, and just straightened up the doors. I was really proud of that cupboard, but no. Basically, the doors closed very nicely. It was absolutely fine. But when I first put the doors in, because I was struggling with the hinges a bit, and the doors overlapped. And luckily, IKEA gives you instructions for that. It says, you know, if you unscrew this screw, it will go back and forth. And if you unscrew these screws, it will go up and down. So you can fit it. So I had done that so it closed nicely, but it wasn't the most even way of doing it. So there was on the side of the hinge, there was a very slightly bigger gap on one side. I'm quite OCD, but it wasn't enough to bother me, and I was just glad it closed nicely. So I was like, no, job done, I've done well. Literally took 2 seconds look at it and was like, let me just fix this for you. Yeah, okay. On one hand, I was thankful. On the other hand, I was hurt. Let me have my pride, delivery dude. And that's what I've really done with the main room. Goes into my kitchen here. Haven't done much in here except reorganize all the cupboards and just put up a couple of hooks and things here, so I've got a bit more space for everything. Put my utensils over in this corner so they're not just filling up that drawer when I'm trying to find things. Stuff like that, little changes. The bedroom, I haven't done very much to, and I want to do more to. So I hate the colour in here, but I don't think I'm going to bother painting the walls now. So I think what I'm going to do is have to come up with something that works with these walls the way I did in the main room. So I went for greens and blues in here because it helped the wall colour to kind of chime in a little bit. I'll do the same here. I moved my bedside tables because I brought that in. Now, the bedside table, which is actually technically here, originally I shoved them both over that side just so I'd have somewhere to put it, and I hated it. Hate things being lopsided. I also hate this. This is my dressing table. I got a new chair for the dressing table, which I like, but I hate the orangey colour of this wood. So I'm going to, at some point, replace this dressing table for something a little more in these tones, and that should work quite well. But because I spent money on a new table and chair set already, and the new chair here and a couple of other things, I don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon. We'll see how it goes. But the next big purchase will probably be this changing, because I'm glad I've got the extra storage now, but I still don't like it. And then I moved one of the tables I had just into this corner. So it's just got, you know, medicines and things on my nightstand there. So that's all there really is to it. That's the bathroom. You don't need to see it. Nothing has changed in it. But that's how everything is looking at the minute. So as you can see, I didn't end up doing much with the bedroom. That'll be the next project. I just don't have the money for it right now. I want to say next month, but I've actually overspent slightly because I decided to get the table because of the offer feed. So it might end up maybe being a Christmas job. But let me tell you the story of receiving my table because, man, it was a faff. So I ordered my table from a site called Panhome. It used to be known as Pam Emirates, and actually, even though they've officially changed their name in Oman at least, half their stuff still says Pan Emirates. Now, how this story goes is pretty indicative about how generally Middle Eastern companies work. And I mean that in terms of the level of frustration of trying to communicate. So they're still really big on doing things in person here, but obviously with COVID and things, like some things went online. But it's not a well-oiled machine on that side of things. So you still have a lot of companies solely interacting through WhatsApp. You still have a lot of people using social media but not being very responsive to it. But Panhome is a massive company. It's called Pan Emirates because it comes from the Emirates. It's an international company. So I thought I'd be a little bit safer. So the table set I wanted was on offer. It was 85 real, which isn't bad for a table and 4 chairs. And it was 40 reals off. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. There's a ton of sales on right now because of Eid, but I was considering getting a table that could fold down so I can move it to the side if I needed to and just have it as a 2-seater when I was here by myself and then just extend it as needed. But just getting the table without the chairs from somewhere like IKEA was going to be almost twice the price of buying the entire set from Pan. But IKEA tends to be a little bit more reliable with their stuff. So I ordered this table and chair, and it says on the website, order now to have it delivered by like Saturday. So it was the following day, which is really quick delivery. Their usual delivery is 2 to 4 days. It says on the bottom of the page, but it just happened to say this time. And I guess they were running a special. I was like, okay, great. Once I placed the order, I got a text message saying, hey, this is your order number. Your order is confirmed. Thank you for ordering. You will get a message from the online team. And because the website had a little bit of a glitch as I was trying to pay the first time, I also check my my bank, and there's been a hold for the amount I paid taken out my credit card. So I was like, okay, perfect. The day continues and I do not get a call from the online team. And given that delivery was meant to be the next day, I sign into my account the next day, maybe thinking, okay, maybe they're waiting for the delivery instructions. And my delivery has a weird code in it instead of a date. And then further down where it does say the date, it says 1st of the 1st, 1970. And I'm like, oh no, okay. And I call their customer service just to double check what's going on. So that day I get answered by customer service. I say that because that changes. And the customer service dude cannot find my order. I give him my order number and he's like, sorry, this isn't coming up. I give him my name, nothing. I give him my phone number, which most things are tied to. And he's like, sorry, you're not in the system. Bear in mind, I've had my order confirmed and the money's been taken or at least put on hold. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm in the system. I got this text message. And he's like, yeah, sorry, no, but I'll raise an issue for you so that we can look into it further. Somebody will call you. So that's pretty concerning, but I wait for the call. Of course, the call doesn't come. So that's fairly concerning, but about half an hour after that phone conversation, I get another text message, identical text message saying, hey, your order's been confirmed. Here is the same order number. And I think, okay, this is about half an hour after the call. Okay, great. They obviously are working on it because this seems to be an automated text and someone's doing something to my account. I sign into my online account. Nothing's changed there yet, but I decide to just give them the rest of the day. They're sorting it. The next day, I try and call back. And this, friends, was a problem. The customer service number I had called the day before was now switched off, inexplicably switched off. And I'm like, you are a major international company. Why is your customer service switched off? It wasn't Eid holiday at this point. The Eid holiday began on Tuesday, which was yesterday, which is why I was trying to sort this out, because the moment Eid holiday starts, it is absolute crapshoot if you can get hold of anyone. So I try emailing the customer service email that's listed on their website, because I think, okay, if they're having trouble finding my order, sometimes language is an issue. He spoke good English, but sometimes language is an issue. Maybe they misunderstood a number I said. Let me send them the invoice so they can follow up with this and I can just check in what's happening because no one's called me. The email gets rejected straight back to my inbox, which happens more frequently than you would think here. It's just insane. So then I'm like, crap, okay. I go to their Facebook group because that's one of their socials listed, and I don't have very many social media platforms. So I'm like, okay, Facebook. I message on Facebook, no one answers. They have both a different phone number and a different email address on their Facebook though. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, well maybe this is the more up-to-date one because they changed their name to Pan Home and maybe I just got an old version. Never mind that the customer service line had picked up the day before, maybe this is another option. I call the number and it's an Emirates number. I can call that on my phone, it's not a problem, but they are an Emirates originated company, I suppose. I call them, and the official number on their Facebook page goes to a very confused cleaning service in the Emirates, who have obviously had this problem before, who are just like, are you calling from Panhome? Yeah, well, we're not involved. I don't know why people keep calling. You know, very polite, but the amount of calls they must have had, especially if the other one switched off. So I've got 2 phone numbers now that haven't worked. I've got a messenger not responding, and I tried the email address on the Facebook, and the email addresses are rejecting on both of the accounts. At this point, I've had enough, because it frustrates me a lot when the things put in place like that just aren't manned or just don't work. I don't think there's a good excuse with that when it's a big company like this. So I'm quite frustrated, and I put myself in a taxi and I go to a pan store, because a lot of the time they just say, okay, you have to go to a physical store to sort things out, even when it's an online order. So I go into the pan store and I say, hey, do you have a customer service point that I can talk to? They do. Everyone's gone on lunch just now. There'll be an hour. Are you kidding me? But the guy, very polite, says, let me take your number and they can call you. And I'm just like, I'm not confident that's gonna happen. But if it's an hour, it's a big store, I'll go wander for a while, and I got a few things while I was there. So he goes to take my number and it just pops up and he says, are you so-and-so, and says my name. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you've got a delivery tomorrow. And it's in his system, but nowhere else in the world, apparently, but in his system. And I was like, it'd be really nice if you gave me a mechanism to tell me that. Because I didn't get an email, like, confirming it or anything. And so I'm with him, I'm just like, you can't speak like that to people, obviously. Even with how frustrated I was, like, it doesn't get you anywhere in the Middle East. You have to stay calm, you have to stay very polite. So I'm just like, really, are you sure it's in there? And because that's what I was concerned about. It's like, if you are confirming for me the order is in there, then I do not need to see customer service. This is what I'm trying to fix. And he was like, yes, absolutely, it's in there. He took my number anyway, just in case. And then I hung around the store because I was shopping. So the customer service confirmed it as well. But I was like, why are you putting me through this experience if the order is actually there? At what point did this go wrong? Was it an issue with the guy I spoke to yesterday? Was it your complete lack of communication of any kind available for your customers? Like, why was this so hard? It's because you can only do things in person successfully, I would guess. But that's why I was so anxious about the delivery. It's just because it works very much as, yes, the delivery will come, inshallah, and then it will eventually, but it will do it whenever it pleases, and there will be no communication in the meantime until you get a message from the driver being like, location, and then hope you're at home when you get that. So that was the adventure of the table. I did eventually get it, but man, it was a frustrating couple of days. So other than a couple of small home improvement projects, I also spent yesterday breaking down some ingredients in my fridge. Not really meal prepping, just I had some things that were gonna go off, and I just sort of chopped them up, put them in the freezer. Just didn't want to waste them, but I'm not gonna use them in the time. So spent yesterday doing that. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm just in my kitchen at the moment trying to freeze yogurt. Not for the fun way, I'm not doing froyo, but a friend and I both want to go low carb for a little while. We both did it together before, and for quite a long time actually, and we thought we'd get back to it this summer. Neither of us sees us doing it super long term, but we both want a break from like the white carbs, the sugars, that kind of thing, to kind of get us started on something more sustainable. And because I'm off for summer now, I said I would do it with her. So I have got a couple of things in my fridge that I probably won't use in the next month or two, but I don't want to waste them by throwing them away, and one of them is this. So this is just some low-fat yogurt I bought a tub of because for a while I was having it for breakfast there. I've emptied out my ice cube trays, and I've looked online and it said if you just freeze them into little ice cubes and then I can keep them all in like a baggie, then I should be able to just take it out when I need it. The texture will change a little bit as it freezes, but if I'm using it for something like a curry or a marinade, it really doesn't matter. I don't mind. So I think I'm just going to do that. Not sure how successful this is going to be, but it does have the silicone bottom, which should make it easier to pop out. So I'm going to give it a try. I've also got a few cherries in the fridge, which are getting a little bit past their prime. I need to pick through them, make sure none of them are going bad. And then I'll probably freeze those. And I've got a big container of tomatoes that I just didn't get around to using. I've been eating salads, but I just bought too many. So I think I'm just going to boil those very briefly so I can take the skin off quite easily, chop them up, and then freeze them as chopped tomatoes so that when next time I'm using anything that requires that, I can just pull it out the freezer. First batch going in. This may not be worth the effort I'm putting into it. Okay, well, in the category of the small things that make me happy, it looks like I only had a couple of these starting to turn. Caught them before they spread to the rest of the batch. This is just water mixture with a tiny bit of vinegar in just to rinse them, and then I'll rinse them through again in just water, and I'm going to freeze them in a Tupperware. Okay, it is a little bit later. I am at this stage with my stuff. This is the tomatoes that I had. So I think I filmed some of it earlier. So basically I just cut a notch in the top of the tomatoes, dumped them into boiling water, and then put them into an ice bath to shock them. Makes the skins really easy to peel off. I have mostly de-seeded them. There's a few seeds in here, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't really care. Just next time I need something tomato based, I'll throw them into a pan, but for now they're going into the freezer. So in they go. These are starting to harden up a little bit. They'll go into a bag when I'm done. And I've just popped some little bags of cherries in here to freeze up. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of video work today for this video, and I've got a finance video to record, and I may end up doing a react. So that's where we are for the day. How has your day been? I hope it's been okay. I hope you're doing something fun. And I hope you're getting some rest. I hope you're doing your skincare, drinking your water, just generally having a good old part of your life. So that's really where we are. It's not an exciting life, but it's one I love. And I will see you next time.